Well, Angela, another edition of Deep Balls. So good feedback so far. So we'll keep coming at you with shows as long as you keep showing you like it. So if you're here again, thanks a lot for joining us again. Angela, what's going on? What was the latest thing happening in our lives?
Well, obviously we were in Hattiesburg for the homecoming game, and we did in fact do our 80s party, which was a lot of fun. We actually dressed as homecoming king and queen. And it was an absolute blast. And then of course the game on Saturday.
Well, we don't have to talk about the game because we lost again. Again. So
Sure you don't want to talk about the game?
I don't know, but it's starting to be that point. You saw that sticker, I think a Barstool Southern Miss made, where it's usually like beat Texas State, beat whoever, and it just had the sticker beat anyone. Like,
I think we need to make one that says beat up. We're beat up.
Beat up. Beat up. Because I'm beat down. I just
beat down.
I don't. And the next two opponents are just they're tough. So you want to just move forward in the process. I don't know what to say anymore with Southern Miss football right now. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I don't.
You know what? Let me give one positive though, and it was a big positive. Avery Hobbs.
Yeah.
Avery Hobbs, who had a heart condition before the season and wasn't sure he was going to play football again, comes back, last week, and then at the Old Dominion game gets 2 sacks. And you talk about an uplifting story, though, because who doesn't love Avery Hobbs? The Machine is his nickname. So there's something uplifting. I'd be doing a disservice to bring my guy Avery Hobbs into the picture. So
yeah, I still feel, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people, probably most people, who disagree with me on this, but I still feel like that we know that there's more talent than what we're seeing in the scheme that's being run. And man, I'd love to see it. I'd just love to see it. Can we just see it once this season? Can we just see it once? I don't know. I don't know what to say other than that, honestly.
You see, her frustration, we're in this together. So
Usually I'm the one reeling you back in. I don't have it in me.
She doesn't have it in her. So I don't know. We'll see what happens the rest of the season, but it's not good right now at all. And there's a lot of problems. I've talked about on my show, and I'm just bigger problems than just X's and O's. So, but I don't know. But yeah, the 80s party was fun. That's for dang sure.
80s party was a lot of fun. So here's...
What?
Can I give you my favorite moment?
Yep.
All right. So here was my favorite moment.
All right.
So when I usually go back to Hattiesburg with Marchant, Marchant being Marchant, by and large, my job is picture taker. Like we get, people come up to us all the time, and he loves it and I love it. And I'm not, please understand, there's no problem with that. But, people are always coming up and they'll chat a little bit and they'll say, hey, as they hand me their camera, would you mind taking a picture of me and Marchant? No, of course not. Every now and then somebody will be nice and they'll invite me to join in, but I know it's not really about getting a picture with me. It's really about getting a picture with Marchant. And that's great. It's a lot of fun. He loves doing it. So we're at the 80s party, and we're hanging out with Sammy Winder. And
trust me, when I think of Sammy Winder, too, I'm like, oh my God, Sammy Winder.
Yeah. Marchant is totally all fanboying out. And,
Sammy Winder.
And Sammy was so cool and just such a total, absolute gentleman. But, people were coming up and, chatting with Sammy and reliving moments and doing all the things that normally they do with my husband when they see us. Only they're handing Marchant their phone and saying, hey, would you mind taking a picture of me and Sammy?
I thought it was kind of a little kind of big deal. Not a big deal. I'm no Sammy Winder or some of these other guys. But, and then you're humbled when you're standing next to Sammy Winder, the leap, the drive in the NFL against the Browns. I mean, the absolute football legend. And I love taking those pictures and stuff. But I at least thought, after I took the picture of them, they'd be like, now let's get one of you. No, they took the phone, went off. I'm like, 43? No, nothing. I'm like, all right.
I love seeing people take pictures with you, but I have to admit, every now and then, it's nice to see the head get shrunk a little bit, So
it's humble.
I did get a little kick out of that.
But I love it. Sammy Winder. I mean, that's one of my heroes from Southern Miss football. So.
Here's a cool story, though, about Sammy. So, Marchant actually recently interviewed him. He's going to be coming up on one of the episodes of Anyone, Anywhere, Anyplace.
Anytime.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, that's kind of getting to the theme of beat anybody. Like You know, any time, anyhow, we just win football, please.
I'm newer to this, obviously, than Marcian is. So now here's twice in a row, both episodes. I'm
Beat
the one that made the
anybody,
flunder.
anyhow.
I'm the one that floundered on the. But so, anyways, we're hanging with Sammy though, and you know, Marchant probably watches The Leap once a week.
I've seen The Leap
Once a week,
at
maybe.
least 8,475. Can I give this story about The Leap?
Sure.
So my son, he loves sports highlights, ESPN highlights. And he hadn't seen The Leap in a long time, literally a long time.
Around
And
here,
so-
it's like 2 weeks.
No, it was a long time because I knew it'd be perfect to do it. And so we're in the car, picked him up from school, and I said, son, tell me if this video I'm about to show you would be number one on ESPN today. It would be the number one highlight of the day. And so I pulled up The Leap, set it up. You know, Sammy comes running around the end and just like Superman's over the entire defense. And right as Sammy leapt, my son, who's seen all highlights,
Yeah.
he's just, whoa, dude. And I'm like, it was superhuman. I mean, and so that just goes to show you how big a deal he had of Sammy Winder. He did a superhuman move against Ole Miss too.
Well, I love that setup because, you know, obviously I'm a little bit newer to face, and I've met Sammy before, but you know, I'm not you, right? And so we're hanging out with Sammy and you know, a friend that he had there with him at the bar, and I tell him, I said, oh my gosh, you know, my husband just loves you so much. He had just done an interview with Marchant. And I said, you know, I think he watches The Leap at least once a week. And Sammy looks at me and he kind of leans in and he goes, I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm like, okay. And he said, it wasn't as impressive as they make it look. It was good camera angles. Bull Sammy.
I've seen every angle of picture. That man is, in my mind, 20 feet off the ground.
I
right?
agree
And he
with
jumped
you.
from the 10, not the 5. In my
But
mind.
it just goes to show how cool and humble he is, that here we are, we're, you know, heaping accolades on him. People are wanting to come up and get photos. And
It was so cool.
And he leans in and tells me, you know, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal.
That's just
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
But Sammy, and I'm a fanboy. But Sammy, remember that time?
It just, yeah, it made me love him even more. I thought it was just super, super cool. But that 80s party was awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys have never gone to that, it's always the Friday before homecoming, and it's a fundraiser for the men's basketball team. And oh my goodness, it's just one of my favorite things that we do all year in Hattiesburg.
I'm on the dance floor, hanging out with Jay Ladner, my guy. I mean, like, you know, getting all the X's and O's from him too. I'm like, hey, coach, great band, but what are we gonna do in the paint this year? We're gonna be fast break team. He's like, can we just watch the band? I'm like, all right, coach. So, what next subject? I mean, are we moving away from football, or what are we gonna do here? So,
I think most people
little bit.
would like to move away from football. So I think for your mental health, we might need to move away from football. It's been a rough few days around here.
yeah, no, we have a little outline of things I know in our brains, but you know, it's just want to talk and things like that. Do you want to talk about basketball right now?
Let's talk about basketball.
Basketball. Let's talk about basketball. And let me kind of get on, you know, a hot topic right now is what's going on with football. Not to go back to football, a hot topic. And things are just, it's a dead vibe. It's ripping the soul out of me, Angela, like just pulling it out of me. It's literally, and I'm speaking for a lot of people. So
You and about 2,000 of
Yeah.
your friends, by the way, that your phone has been going off this week.
I know. They just dinged again, like, what's going on? I'm like, hold on. But no, so I needed energy for my own personal show, anyone, anywhere, anytime. And the first name that popped in my head when I needed positive energy and just this sense of urgency vibe was Southern Miss men's basketball associate head coach Juan Cardona. He made the ESPN highlights last year because they were just like, look at this guy.
He moves.
This is amazing. How do you have this much energy? and he's like that 24/7. So I'm like, let me get him on my show. And sure enough, after the show, I'm like, that didn't disappoint. And that was everything we needed for positive energy and more. And kind of what I'm getting at, just basketball before last season, and Coach Ladner will be the first to admit it. I mean, he was on the hottest of hot seats.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't do something big, so that was it. That was it for him. He knew it. And so he made some changes and some moves. It's like, we're going to be different. We're going to do things different. I got one chance. And he brings in Juan Cardona, and this energy, and the players feel it. And literally every possession, the way Coach Cardona coaches is like it's his last possession he's coaching. If you know his backstory too, I mean, on why he's like that. I mean, he had a goal to always be the first Puerto Rican-born college basketball coach, and nothing was going to stop him. That's why he coaches like that. But comes into the season, and if you remember before the season, they were so bad. They were so bad.
I know.
They were picked last in the Sun Belt. DeAndre Pinckney could count the players in the fans in the stands on who was at the games. He's like, we got about 100, I guess.
Right.
And so the media days, the media, everybody, a lot of people might remember, they asked his prediction on how they're going to do. And with conviction, with purpose, with urgency, so we're going to win it. We're winning. And like, he was taken aback being asked that. And people watching that like, okay, pick last. And what'd they do?
They won it.
They won the damn Sun Belt. And then before the season also, if you'd have told me they were going to sell out a game, you'd have thought I'm crazy.
Right, yeah.
What'd they do on February 9th? Sold out a game. And it was just, but it was the only description I can get in this vibe of college sports, where it's just people moving parts and pieces every year, transfer portal, NIL. One theme you can keep and turn things around in 1 year is energy, and whatever message you're pumping out, you say it with belief and you say it with purpose. Because Southern Miss basketball is probably the ultimate example I can give for turning, I hate to say nothing, but just literally, there were 100 fans maybe in the stands, right, to a sellout. And now there's hype for an exhibition game on October 29th where DJ Cujo, I love DJ Cujo. He's like, I want to DJ that. And this is an exhibition game. It's Mississippi State town, I know, but people can't wait to see this team and see Coach Cardona running up and down the sidelines again. So I rambled on a lot right there, but it's just, as football is just not doing what they need to do. And now for a long time, not even with just Coach Hall's regime, it's just, you see this sense of urgency over there, and it's right under our noses there, yeah, on how to do it.
A couple takeaways that, for me, when I was, hearing you interview Coach, and, I think we've watched that interview back a couple of times ourselves.
4 times.
Because
I did.
It is really, and it's not because he's sitting next to me, and it's not because he's my husband. It's a great show.
Let me say that. If you've never watched the show, if you don't even like me, I'm not watching because I don't like the guy, give that show a try. And
it's pretty great.
It's
pretty great.
The guy coaches like his life depends on it.
Yeah. A couple things that I loved from that interview. One is I loved when and we don't want to give away too much because obviously we want you to go watch that show, but I loved how he talked about the college environment today, how he talked about the transfer portal, how he talked about NIL, and how just the attitude, and I'm going to let you speak more to it because you're the one that had the conversation with him, but just how he talked about his approach to the fact that players are not, you don't bring a player in thinking that they're probably going to be permanent.
Yeah, you'd want them to build legacies if they're here 4 and 5 years. That's awesome. I mean, that is great. Unfortunately, you can just look at the landscape and the entire environment. That's just not how it's built right now. A transfer portal and NIL, if you're not keeping up with the Joneses with at least some shiny new stuff, well, Utah football's out tweeting, giving free trucks to all their players. And if that didn't grasp everybody's eyes in our program, I'm not saying do that, but like, it's a different landscape, and attentions are just, they're not where they used to be, where back in 97, you had 4 and 5 year players trying to make a legacy, and it's just not like that anymore, but he gets it, but in the meantime, his number one goal is to mold these young men into great men that are going to have great jobs. He said that they have jobs, because the ultimate goal is going to be in the workplace. This won't last forever. And So, but you can still have that theme and building great men. But dang it, it's just I don't know how to explain it. But with understanding the landscape that these are kids that could move, they're successful and they move, and if they do, that's great. You did a great job probably because they had a great season and they're attractive from other teams. But he just grasped it because everything has to be a sense of urgency, every move, because this is yearly turnover in sports. It just is in college sports. Texas State, they came in here and rubbed 42-10 at halftime with a brand new team from last year. It's
Right.
Yeah,
you're not bringing in a recruiting class as freshmen thinking that they're going to be great in 4 years when they're seniors.
You'd love them
don't even know
to.
if they're going to be there, yeah.
But that's not the landscape right now.
And one other thing that I think is really impressive, as we talk about the addition of Coach Cardona, is the fact that Coach Ladner, as the captain of that ship, he had the wherewithal to think very, very, very outside the box. Inside the box thinking wasn't working for him, and he knew that. And really, what do great leaders do? Great leaders find ways to lead even when the going gets really, really hard. And, kudos to Coach Ladner for that. Kudos to Coach Ladner and Coach Cardona for thinking outside the box again by going and, pursuing some players that weren't on everybody's top list. One of the things that has gotten talked about a lot is this whole concept about, Mississippi kids. Well, that's not how basketball's doing it. They didn't limit themselves that way. And, maybe there's some lessons to be learned there too.
No, it's a great theme and a great topic, hot topic, because there's a lot of questions being drawn right now, but I don't know what else to say. Coach Ladner, the ultimate back against the wall, ultimate hot seat in college sports and college basketball was him before last season. And he did everything he could to think outside the box to right the ship, because nobody bleeds black and gold more than Jay Ladner, more than me. I mean, I joke, you cut that dude open, it's going to pour black.
That'd be a competition.
I don't know. Jay was part of 80s Eagle Fever in that NIT championship. I didn't win a national kind of vibe championship. The Liberty Bowl was a big deal. But no, Jay just, because he wanted to be here so bad, and he just did something just completely outside the box. And that's why, like my show, I'm like, I need something outside the box. Because I think some of these stories I'm pumping in from football are like, dang, we used to be good. It's just, I'm like, let me bring Juan Cardone in. It was a no-brainer. And I got off and I wanted to go play basketball. But you won't let me because I tore my patella with a bunch of dads not too long ago trying to play basketball.
No, we watch these days.
Yeah,
That's all we do. We just watch. Yeah. No, I love it. I love the interplay of Coach Ladner and Coach Cardona. I think that, Coach Ladner with his deep ties in Southern Miss, he brings a certain element, and then you get that young, wild associate coach and Coach Cardona that just brings a lot of energy. I said he's like brilliance mixed with Red Bull.
Yeah, he's literally, that's how I described him on the show. We had so much fun. I mean, if you watch it, I almost jumped through the camera. I'm like, because I'm a high energy guy. I just am, and I don't need him to hype me up because I'm like, I would run through a wall for that guy. And he's just one of those guys, but he's definitely energy in a bottle that you just can't contain in that bottle. I mean, that bottle's about to explode.
And he said, you ask him, he said, they're going to win the Sun Belt again.
With conviction.
And
get to March Madness. So, because why not? Because you got to one-up what you did last year. It's, that's how this game works.
So when they get to March Madness, what are you going to do?
Oh my, you talking about how nervous I'll be watching in the March?
No, just let's lay something out there. I'm not going to bet against you, so we can't bet.
You're saying my prediction for the team?
No. I'm saying, like, when they get to March Madness and they get the bid, like, what are you going to do? What crazy thing are you going to do? I've heard you talk about this before. Maybe not, like, between us.
Is this a bet?
Kind of, but I don't want to bet against you.
Are you saying me like...
It's like a dare. There you go. It's a dare. Yeah, I dare you. What are you going to do when they make the tourney?
See, but the thing is, I don't know exactly what you're talking about because, like, me, I'm like, I'll run shirtless if this happens, and I'll say that daily sometimes. So this is a shirtless down Hardy Street thing? No,
I've
in
heard
my-
that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 'Cause I'm like, if Southern Miss football won the if Southern Miss football
Viewership just went up.
if Southern Miss football won the national championship, it'd be hard not to be in a thong speedo with USM painted on my chest. But there'd be 100 guys with me too.
I don't know if you just convinced them to be more motivated or less.
Yeah, I
motivated.
probably never would. They're like, ooh. The old guy running down Hardy Street.
I mean, it sounds good to me, but
I don't know what I say I do.
oh, there was a lot of running around campus with
Oh yeah.
your shirt on, and
Oh yeah, because it just be
might
so,
have been like a tattooing J on your chest type thing, whatever.
I'd just be so happy for the guys, like so happy. So
Yeah, so that was a great interview. Good job on that.
appreciate that. It was fun. It was easy to do. It was almost like let the camera roll. You hear that sometimes? Let this guy talk and tell his story.
And we actually get to go see him practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that.
I'm going on campus to interview the 62 national championship team in football and have those guys tell stories of back when rock and roll was being built and win the national championships and what it was like on campus. And so hopefully get some good stories. But we were like, let's go see practice. So we hit up the admin over there and we're going to go check them out and get some inside scoop on, don't be hitting me up for too much inside scoop. There's only so much I'm sure Coach Ladner will let me share.
I can't wait. I mean, I love football, but basketball, of course, growing up in Kentucky was my first love. And so I'm really excited to get a little bit of a sneak peek at this basketball team.
Well, I'm a football guy. I mean, tried and true. But if you ask me what's the most exciting sporting event when it's rocking, it's a basketball game. I mean, the most fun I've ever had a sporting event in Southern Miss, besides the UL Cajun game last year, was a Memphis game in 2012, 13, I believe. But it was packed. I was sweating. I couldn't even hear the guy next to me telling me a story, and students stormed the court. I mean, it was basketball is just it's different. It's a closed arena. It's intense. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right there with them.
You're with them. You feel like you're with them.
Right there
Yeah, a
with
little
them.
bit more.
Yeah. And I'm going to go with you.
Yeah.
Because
as we tape this, tomorrow's our 2-year wedding anniversary. So the year I brought this woman from the SEC to the SBC, to places like
actually you didn't bring me straight to the SBC. That was a step up. I did do 1 year in hell with you guys, so
yeah.
And that's maybe counting.
Conference USA. You got to see.
Yeah.
I swear, Conference USA. When I was there, it was cool, slick conference. I swear. People think I'm lying. But even at the end, I'm like, I could care less what happens with this conference. We'll go independent right now to get out of this. I think McLean was the same way. That's why they just divvied up money to get the hell out of this place. So, but yeah, you caught that. Well, they took the hyphen out now, so it's not C-USA. It's
CUSA.
CUSA, so it's better because there's no hyphen now. There's just. I love that marketing. Anyway, we'll take the hyphen out.
It's better because we don't have to watch it.
It's better.
That's really why it's better.
That would be better because we don't have to watch it.
Better because we don't have to watch it.
That's the new Conference USA.
Yeah, that was a rough year.
So, but our anniversary. So, love this woman. I'm so lucky. I'm glad I brought her into this place. She's taking road trips to like Troy, Alabama.
We should have talked about that a little bit more.
I
I obviously missed out on. I didn't need a prenup for the money. I needed a prenup for the shit towns you're going to take me to.
My favorite part of that, because we do like to have a little social activity, a little social life. We're not partying all the time, but every now and then, and post game, we're literally like, where do we go?
Oh,
and
my gosh.
For our age group or whatever, we'll go with the young people, but this is asking for like an hour. It narrowed down to a Ruby Tuesdays. After a college football game, a Ruby Tuesdays, and we're sitting there lost, depressed because we lost again, and you're just sitting at a Ruby Tuesdays feeling like that in Troy, Alabama. That was you're about to leave me. I'm like, she's gonna we won't make it to a second year.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but I grew up actually on a farm. I am a true farm girl. And when I say farm, I mean like a really remote farm up in the hills of Kentucky, which is actually good because it did prepare me for, hanging out in Troy, Alabama after a football game. because, there's about as many restaurants as, I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know where I was going with that. None. There are none. So yeah, I didn't realize that Ruby Tuesdays actually serves alcohol until we decided to go in post game in there, and it was a sad moment in our relationship. So thanks for bringing that up as part of our anniversary.
I really want people to understand how rural you were. She showed me on a map. And like the map, you zoomed out, the roads and stuff all over here. She kept zooming in. And I'm like, the roads coming off of that. And eventually there's no more roads to this place. It's a forest that opens up in the map as you zoom in the satellite. And I'm like, geez. And then she's told me enough stories, like literally when she had to go get her food, she had to go get her food. She had to go milk Bessie, chase the I don't know, the chickens and the pigs.
We had all of it
get
around.
her food. Yeah. And you did that for 14 years?
Yeah. I was 14 when we moved.
That's why I get a kick out of it. I loved MTV in the 80s. Like I was like, everything was MTV. Aha, music video, Take On Me, Billy Idol, Run DMC. And I try to engage her with MTV conversations, our childhood, and it just doesn't do anything for her. And I'm like, it feels like they didn't even have TVs. Or you did, but you had one of those big satellite dishes just to get reception.
Well, no, we weren't that lucky. We didn't have that. People that had that were very, very lucky. No, it's funny because Marchant and I are less than, my phone's ringing, sorry. Yeah. We're less than a year apart in age, but yet our upbringings are so vastly
culturally
different. Culturally,
night and day.
You grew up with. In the city of New Orleans, and I grew up in an area where there were 3 TV stations and about the same number of radio stations. And MTV didn't exist for me until the 90s, really. And so he talks about all these 80s cultural things, and I have no clue whatsoever what he's talking about. Because
like Rubik's Cube? It didn't
exist for me.
The Rubik's Cube, nothing.
We had Slinkies.
Yeah, E.T. the movies, he's just blank staring.
No, I mean, none of that happened for me until
because I get passionate even about Ferris Bueller. Like, I'm like, oh, and I just stopped the conversation.
No, I grew up very much like, if there was an 80s version of Little House on the Prairie.
Wait, because all right, so.
I did 4-H, the whole thing.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I do dishes. I do my part around the house. I do. That's my wife. It's 50-50. We split everything. But like, I'm your typical guy. Like when a pot or a pan is full of just garbage and mess from food, it's got to soak for 2 hours, and I'm just, it's got to soak, that's how you get the grit off and things like that. But I'm hand washing before I knew it, because, but just some of the little things, not against hand washing, but like instead of waiting to put it in the dishwasher, you're much more of a cleaner upper and a go-getter. And like, but it takes me back to older times. And I play the Little House on the Prairie tune sometimes when she's got this old woman coming out.
Yeah, we didn't have.
I don't know where I was going with that, but guys, we like, it's got to soak the pots. We can't clean it, right? It's got to soak.
We didn't have a dishwasher. My grandparents had a dishwasher.
She didn't have a dishwasher. That's
we didn't have a dishwasher until I was, 16.
That's my point. I was a brambled. You will hand wash everything. Like, I've seen her do it. Besides put it in the dishwasher, like, I'm like, but, and I play the Little House on the Prairie thing. I'm like, these are expensive. You know what I'm putting?
No, if it's a small, if it's just you and me and just us eating, then it's silly to put it in the dishwasher. I can just hand wash it and dry it and put it back on the shelf.
I'm talking like 17 plates and dishes and stuff. Jesus, I can't do the Little House on the Prairie thing,
but yeah, we canned vegetables and we had bees and we took honey, and it was just a totally different, type of environment. But the good news, babe, is that if the world ever ends, I'll take really good care of you.
Oh yeah, she's the handy woman at this house. I don't have a clue.
That's funny.
But
all
right.
Happy 2-year anniversary.
Happy 2-year anniversary.
It's been a lot of fun. Even Troy.
Yeah, even Ruby Tuesdays and Troy. Well,
I didn't go as far as Ruby Tuesdays. Yeah. I just said Troy. The game was a lot of fun. Ruby Tuesdays. We may just have to take our own bar the next time that we have to go there.
There you go. There you go. Well, once again, thank you for joining us. And I like your little thing where we're not asking for subscriptions, all that. We're not. I did that on my other show, and we're not going to do that here. And just spread the word if you like it. That's all we ask. And those two people, we enjoy watching them. So that's all we ask. So, but hope to see you next time. And until then, that's it for another edition of Deep Balls.
I still love that name.
Talking sports.
Talking sports, deep balls.
Like the throat.